everyone, this is Katara and welcome back to my channel. Hello. Okay, so for today's video I thought we should have a little chit chat because there's some things that I want to say. You know what I'm saying? There's a conversation that I want to have, and it was inspired by a tweet that I put out a couple of days ago, and it just literally blew up, and the more this tweet circulates and keeps on bringing itself back into my mentions, the more I realize that, this is a conversation that I want to have. And judging from the response on the tweet, a lot of you guys want to have that conversation too, or a lot of you maybe agree with me, I don't know, but either way I think we should have a talk. But before we jump into that conversation, please take the time out to make sure that you are subscribed to my channel and that the notifications for my channel are turned on, because you don't want to miss any videos that I put out, right? Okay, so let's talk. Let's talk, okay? On the timeline on Twitter, what happened is that a girlie got in trouble because she liked a guy's pictures, I guess on Instagram or on Twitter, wherever. She liked the picture and she got into trouble with her boyfriend because you're not supposed to be liking other people's pictures, blah blah blah. So now obviously the conversation moves from, is it okay or is it not okay to like other people's pictures? The conversation moves from that to insecurities and all these kinds of things. And when I saw the mess happening on the timeline, a big part of me kind of like related, because I think we've all been in a place where we've been extremely insecure and have created all these boundaries and all these rules in our relationship just to make sure that we feel secure, So yeah, the conversation is not new to me. That situation is not new to me. I've been in that situation before. I've been on both sides of the conversation, on the receiving end where I'm the one being told do not like nobody's pictures, I'm your man, blah blah blah. And I've been on the side where I was the one who is kind of, going off and being like, how could you like another girl's pictures? That makes me feel so insecure. I've been on both sides. So I was coming from a place of, I get what you're saying, I get it, I've been there, sis, but trust me, you don't have to be there. So coming from that mindset, I put out a tweet. It's like, unfortunately, your insecurities are yours to fix. And yeah, it blew up. A lot of people agreed, a lot of people didn't agree, a lot of people also took it out of context, and yeah, that's the background of this conversation and where this drama, where this conversation for me personally started. I think for me the conversation starts at a place where we kind of remove the shame of having insecurities. A lot of us feel like, oh, it's so shameful to have an insecurity, but for me personally, in my opinion, I feel like insecurities are so normal. They are so normal. I mean, we put ourselves out there every single day. We're putting ourselves out there in our relationships, in our friendships, in family dynamics and all that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, in between all that putting ourselves out there, we get hurt back. You know what I'm saying? We don't get positive feedback, we get negative feedback, we get criticisms, we get abuse, we get lies, we get manipulations, we get all these type of things. And I think because of that, it's very normal to have insecurities. I don't think it should be anything you're ashamed of. I don't think it should be anything you're scared to speak on. You know what I'm saying? Like this should not be a taboo conversation. You opening up to someone and telling them about your insecurity that you have, you should not feel ashamed to do that, because more oftentimes than not, it is not your fault that you have that insecurity. So for me personally, the insecurity itself isn't the issue. I feel like, the insecurity itself is not the issue. What is the issue is how we as people deal with our insecurities, how we process them, how we express them, how we handle with insecurities. And that's why we have to take it all the way back into where we learned how to behave, where we learned how to handle certain things, and where we got those skills. Like, none of us were born with any kind of any ability. We were just blank canvases for our parents and our surroundings to kind of like impart on us. And when you look at where most of us learned these abilities and skills and all these little things that allow us to function on an everyday basis, we have to talk about our background. You know, we have to talk about how we were raised up. We have to look into our background. And I think that's where the real problem is. I think the real problem is that a lot of us cannot handle our insecurities, right? It's not that we have them, but we just don't know what to do with them, right? That's why we find ourselves in positions where we are telling our significant others that you can't take someone after 7, or you can't do this, because we are trying so hard to figure out a way where we can feel safe, where we can feel secure, that we have to feel like, you know, I have to create this environment where I know for certain that he is not doing anything to hurt me, to, you know, to jeopardize my safety. And that's not healthy. It's not a healthy way to deal with things. So when we talk about insecurities, personally, I find that the place where you can find most answers in your personal life is to kind of look at where you got the skills that you have or don't have to, you know, communicate, to problem solve, to where did you get those skills, right? You probably got it from your upbringing. You know, it may be your parents, it may be your grandparents, it may be an aunt, an uncle, something like that, right? And you know, they teach us whatever they know. I think that's where a lot of us find ourselves in this conversation, because yes, we have the insecurities, but because we don't know how to communicate them and we don't know how to deal with them, it's just a clusterfuck, you know? We just start doing all these things to try feel safe and secure, and it's like, it's not necessary. You know, we should be talking about our insecurities and we should be dealing and working on them, not managing them. Okay, we shouldn't be managing our insecurities, guys. Like, we really shouldn't. We really shouldn't. I know for me personally, growing up, I learned very bad communication habits and very bad communication skills. Well, they're bad according to me, you know. I can say that I learned them from my dad, because he's such a stern, strong character, and so there's no place to kind of like be unsure, you know, like, oh, you know what I'm saying, like. And I kind of learned that stern, borderline aggressive, actually it's not even borderline, it is aggressive, you know, that aggressive, I guess maybe violent way of talking to people, where it seems like it's always an attack, you know. And that has caused so many problems in my life, because I just feel like instead of having a conversation with someone, it usually just becomes a fight. And again, we found ourselves in a place where it's unfortunate, because it's not really my fault that I wasn't taught that you can be kind in your speech and still be stern, you know what I'm saying? It's not my fault. My parent, who is not an effective communicator, obviously can't teach me how to communicate effectively, right? That's just how things work in life sometimes, you know. It's not your fault, but it's your problem. I feel like a very important part of this conversation is trauma. You know, I feel like our insecurities a lot of the times come from trauma, you know, so it can be any kind of trauma. I'm going to make an example with myself about how trauma, growing up, and insecurities kind of like all tie in together to make one giant clusterfuck. When I was in grade 11, I was sexually assaulted. And when that happened, a lot of things changed, okay? One of the biggest things that changed in my life, in my perspective and my attitude, is that I became very combative. I became very combative with men and male authority. And, you know, I became very combative. There was nothing a nigga could tell me, you know, after that happened. Nothing, because I'm gonna put you in your place, you know. Because when something happens to you and you feel violated, you want to reclaim your strength, right? But because I have bad communication skills, all these things are cooking up inside me and manifesting into something quite bad. how I express my trauma is that I was very physical. I was very physically violent and, you know, aggressive, especially with guys. Very, very aggressive. Very, very aggressive. And you see, again in that situation, it was not my fault, you know. Life happened to me, and now I'm stuck with all these negative emotions, and I'm stuck with all these negative thoughts. And because I don't know how to process them, how to handle them, how to deal with them, instead of dealing with them in a healthy way, I act out. You know, I act out, I get into fights, I talk back, I do all these things. And that's a real life example of how life trauma and the skills that you didn't get as a kid, and also insecurity, you know what I'm saying? Because at that time, my vulnerability has now become an insecurity for me, you know. I just feel like I am so vulnerable to anyone's attack. Now I feel super insecure, and I have to make sure that I feel safe again, you know. So it just shows you how all of these things can kind of like work together, and together just mess up your life. Another thing I really want to touch on is that how insecurities and the way we deal with them manifest themselves in so many different ways in our lives. Again, keeping with the example that I made in the beginning, my communication skills, right? So up to now, I'm very violent in my communication, very confrontational, you know. Yeah, I'm about it, right? But I never realized that I had a communication problem until I got into it with someone. It wasn't even my boyfriend, a significant other, it was a friend, you know. And that's the thing, sometimes like when we have conversations about insecurities, we only focus on how they show themselves in romantic relationships, that we don't really talk about how they show themselves in other parts of our lives. So here I am. I get into it with a friend, and you know, she just straight up called me out and told me, I don't like how you spoke to me, you don't even listen to me, you didn't give me a chance to speak, confrontational, too aggressive, relax, calm down. You know, she literally called me out, and I kind of held a mirror to myself at that moment. It was a couple of years ago, it wasn't that long ago, to be honest. So up until my early 20s, that's how I was communicating with people. But anyway, so yeah, that's how I discovered that I had a communication problem. And you see, the thing about insecurities is that they may not be your fault, you know, but they are your problem. I picked that up from a lady that was having an exchange with me when I put out the tweet, and she was just explaining to me how in her community they like to say that it may not be your fault, but it's your problem, you know. And that's how I look at insecurities right now. Yes, it may not be my fault that my ex cheated on me. Yes, it may not be my fault that those boys did whatever they did to me when I was younger. It may not be my fault that my sister or my cousin or my friend betrayed me. It may not be my fault. It may not be my fault that my father left me out of my life and now I have abandonment issues, you know, all that kind of stuff. It may not be my fault, but if I don't deal with it the right way, it's gonna become my problem. And I strongly believe that a lot of us are not dealing with our insecurities the right way. A lot of us are not even dealing with them, period. A lot of us are just managing them, you know what I'm saying? Because even when I saw that conversation happening on the timeline, I was like, but I mean, sure, nobody wants their significant other salivating, drooling, constantly complimenting other women, you know, just being a thirst bucket, just a crumb of pussy. I get it. I absolutely get it. I get it. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that where's my hug ass nigga. Nobody wants that, right? But there's a thin line between that and you literally playing a parole officer for your significant other. It is not okay to tell your significant other how to dress. It is not okay. Just because your ex cheated on you when she started wearing less and going out more does not make it okay to tell your current girlfriend that she cannot, you know, wear less and go out more. It is not okay. I don't even want to hear it. I mean, I hear what you're saying. It was painful, you know, she betrayed you, I get it, but it is not okay to now take that hurt that someone else gave you and then you go project it onto someone else's life as this bunch of rules. You know what I'm saying? It is not okay. That is not dealing with insecurities, that is managing them, you know. And on the flip side, ladies, I know a lot of you may be mad at me, I know a lot of you may not agree with me, but it is not okay to prohibit your man from liking pictures. That is not okay. It really isn't okay. All you're doing is treating the symptom, right? You don't like seeing your man feel like other women are attractive, right? But why? Why is it a problem that your man has eyes that work? There's nothing wrong with that. There really is nothing wrong with that. But because of the things that have happened to you, or maybe someone close to you, you know, you feel like that is necessary to make sure that you are safe and secure in a relationship. And I keep on saying safe and secure because I feel like a lot of us think insecurities are just people being crazy or whatever, and a lot of the times people just want a sense of stability, security in their lives, in their relationships, in their friendships, in their families, you know. And that's why they do all these micromanaging things, you know, to try and make sure it happens. But you can't do that. You really can't do that. And I think that's the biggest problem, is that the fact that we are busy managing our problems and not actually dealing with the actual issue. Because if you really do take the mirror and look and just put up in your face and look, you'll see that the problem is not the like. The problem is the fact that you don't feel beautiful, or the problem is the fact that you don't trust him. Those are the real issues. The real issue is not a like. A like can't be an issue, guys. A like can't be an issue. A like can't shake you. A like should not shake you. But unfortunately, because of the things we have been exposed to, they shake us. They shake us, and to the core, to the place where we are having all types of discussions and arguments and relationship crises. And look, man, they shake us. One little like will literally end your relationship, you know. And I don't think it should be like that. I don't think it has to be like that. Nor do I think that's a healthy way to live. Because here's the thing, guys. Here's the real tea. Here's the gag. It does not matter how many regulations, how many rules you put up for your significant other in your relationship. It does not matter, you know. But because you will not feel any better. You will not. You will not. Your boyfriend can be following the rules to a T. To a T. Just rule following. Just law abiding. Just, you know, straight. Just, and you will still not be happy. You will still not feel safe and secure. And you'll wonder why. You know, you'll be like, oh, am I going crazy? Am I doing this? No, you're not. Because the real problem is you. The real problem is inside you, you know. The real problem is not him. The real problem is not her. The real problem is not them. The real problem is you. And just to bring this whole conversation home and kind of like conclude the conversation, I really want to emphasize the fact that when I said, unfortunately, the insecurities are yours to fix, I didn't mean that it's unfortunate that they're yours to fix. No, I meant that it's unfortunate because a lot of the times our insecurities are not our fault, you know. They are really not our fault. But on the flip side, we are damn fortunate that they're ours to fix, you know. We are so damn lucky because the power to heal ourselves, the power to have a better life, the power to just fix it is in our hands. If our problems are ours to fix, that means the solutions in our hands. And when I say solutions and answers and power to fix things, you know, at the most basic level, I am talking about just the will in itself to want to better yourself, you know. That's power, you know. Because I feel like a very important part of starting your journey to kind of like grow into a better person and to heal yourself starts at self-awareness. You know what I'm saying? You really need to be self-aware of the issues you have, where they come from, how you contribute to those issues, and how you're fixing them. And you know, the truth is, a lot of the times we are gonna need help. We are definitely gonna need help to fix our insecurities. You know, some of us even need professional help. I know personally, I've been to a couple of therapists in my life, and I'm not the only one who's ever been to a therapist. I feel like going to therapy is quite normal. You know, life can be something else, and you know, you need help to navigate throughout your life, right? And that's what therapy is. It's just help. So yeah, I feel like if you think your issues or your problems are too big for you to handle by yourself, or not even too big, but you need professional help because you don't know what the fuck you're doing, get some, you know, get some. And yeah, you know, I feel like that's why it's important to realize that when I talk about it being unfortunate, I really mean just the fact that it's not your fault, you know. It is not unfortunate that they're yours to fix, you know. And when I said that they're yours to fix, what I really meant is that the decision to fix the problem is yours. You know, you have to really sit down and make that decision to be better and to do better. You know, it doesn't matter how many times the people in your life can be like, oh, you're beautiful, oh, you're sexy, oh, you're this. If you don't believe it, you will never have the confidence, you know, that they're trying to give you. You know, you will never feel the assurance that they're trying to give you, you know. So the decision ultimately to fix your life, to get your shit together, is yours. You know what I'm saying? It really is yours. Another narrative that I didn't like that stemmed from that tweet is that you have to deal with your problems alone. You know, I do not believe in that. I do believe in a very good supportive structure. I have a very good support system. I have really supportive and caring family. My friends are really supportive and caring. The man that I am with is very supporting and caring. And I think that is so important because sometimes, like, as powerful as you are, sometimes you just can't deal with things and you need somebody else to kind of like help you to that next step, or kind of like, you know, just be there for you in your down moments when you don't feel as strong as you are. And in those down moments when you're not feeling as strong as you are, you really need someone in your corner to be giving you some type of, you know, affirmation, some type of support, some type of girl, come on man, let's go, you know what I'm saying? You really need someone in your corner, you know. And it's unfortunate because there are a lot of people who don't have people in their corner, you know. It really is unfortunate. But that was not what I was saying at all with that tweet. I mean, even with me, right, just me sitting here, I am not a perfect person. I am continuously working on myself, but I have a boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, he deals with all the imperfection that I am trying to rectify. You know what I'm saying? But I am happy that he's here with me. He's here for me, and I am happy that I can be the same for him. You know what I'm saying? And it's perfectly fine, guys. It's fine. You don't need to get yourself together before you get into a relationship. You don't. There's no way. Like, listen, I know this is a very different conversation that I'm starting right now, but I don't feel like there is a right way and a wrong way to make sure that a relationship works. I think the only thing that's really important is the commitment that you guys make to making it work. You know what I'm saying? And technically, because people aren't perfect, you know, that would really mean there is never a right time to get into a relationship. So personally, that narrative I think is quite silly. You know, there's nothing wrong with having support. There's nothing wrong with having people on your team. There is nothing wrong with needing support. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us feel like, I don't know, like we're one woman army and we're Wonder Women and we can just do everything by ourselves. But sometimes, unfortunately, you can't. That's just life, and you're gonna need people to be there for you. So I don't think it's quite possible to fix your issues all by yourself, because even in like a place where we're not talking about relationships, now we're just strictly talking about fixing your issues, a lot of us fix our issues with the help of therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, you know what I'm saying, professionals professionals, you know, so I can't do it by myself. The decision is mine to make, yes, to get up and to go look for help and to better myself, but I cannot do it by myself. You know, that's not possible. So yeah, I did not agree with that narrative at all. Your problems may be yours to fix, but you know, the people in your life will always be there for you to help you. And you know, here's the thing. I think in relationships can be so complicated and so difficult when you add insecurities, because like I said in the beginning, I'm an individual, he's an individual, and you know, he has his way, or he has learned his way of doing things. I have learned my way of doing things, and every now and then, you know, I always clash, you know, and that is not a malicious thing where it's kind of like, oh, you had an affair on me, we're breaking up. No, but that's just real life relationship shit. That's just real life friendship shit. That's just real life family shit. You know, people are imperfect. People don't know how to talk to people. People have a lot of issues, and a lot of the times our issues, our insecurities, our incompetences just jump out, you know, just jump out like, ha. And that's what makes life, that's what makes relationships, that's what makes friendships so fucking difficult. And that's basically what I have to say about insecurities. They are very normal. There's nothing to be ashamed of. They are yours to fix, but it's definitely not your fault. And you do not have to do it all by yourself. The decision to fix it is ultimately yours, and you have to make that decision by yourself to look for that help, to get that help. But there is no reason why you should do it by yourself, especially if you have a support structure in your life. I don't know if you guys are gonna find it helpful, because it's more like a rant rather than anything else. I think if anything, all of us must just take a moment of like self-introspection and just ask ourselves, when it comes to our insecurities, like, are we dealing with them or are we managing them? I know it's a difficult thing, you know, dealing with hurt and heartbreak, but you have to deal with it. You have to deal with it. If you are putting yourself out there for love, you are putting yourself out there for heartbreak as well. You know, that's a very big possibility. You know, you probably have a 50-50 chance of finding love or finding heartbreak. You know, you have a good chance of finding love, and you have a good chance of finding heartbreak. So it's just one of those things you have to deal with. And I just hope and pray that all of us get to a place where we can deal with things better. And really, that's all you can do as a human or as an individual, is just hope that, like, when life throws shit at you, you can handle it. You know, you can handle it, go through it, and then make it out on the other side still standing and just alive and functioning and not toxic. And in the spirit of not being toxic, maybe you should just go relook or rethink all those rules you have for your partner and where they really come from. It's a very important conversation to have, because I feel like when it comes to relationships, not only are we trying to be a better partner, but I think when you leave a relationship, you must leave it a better you. And please don't get me wrong, I'm not telling you what to do in your relationships. I'm just trying to help you guys the way I help myself. So yeah, before you guys drag me for filth, I hope you guys don't, because yeah, what I'm saying here is bullshit. You know, it's real life shit. Like, life is hard enough, and you don't want to make it harder by just not dealing with it in a healthy way. You don't want to make your life harder by just continuing to make yourself more toxic and just more violent towards yourself and others. And man, I just want peace, world peace. And I know this video won't give us world peace, but you know what? Self-peace, some self-love is a start. So yeah, on that note, I am gonna get going. I really hope you enjoyed this conversation, and let me know what you guys think about insecurities. Are they normal? Are they not? Do you deal with them? Do you manage them? Are you for a nigga who's a thirst bucket, or are you a parole officer? And remember to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications, and follow me on my social media pages, guys. And I will see you next time. Bye!